It was raining again, not the soft kind that brings relief, but the kind that bites through worn shoes and thin jackets. On the corner of Elm Street, Grace Miller crouched beside her 6-year-old daughter Emma, shielding her with an old umbrella that had long since given up fighting the wind. Their belongings sat in 2 torn bags, everything they owned after being evicted that morning. Grace whispered, trying to sound calm. "It's okay, baby. Mommy will find us somewhere warm soon." But her voice cracked. She'd said that same sentence 3 nights in a row. Emma stared at the passing cars, her big brown eyes reflecting the city lights, until she saw a man in a charcoal coat step out of a sleek black car parked nearby. She tugged her mother's sleeve and pointed. "Don't cry, Mommy. Maybe that man will help us." Grace followed her gaze. The man looked powerful, maybe late 30s, clean-shaven, confident, the kind of person who never had to worry about rent or rain. But Grace shook her head softly. "Sweetheart, men like that don't see people like us." Except this one did. Broken heart hook, when eyes meet worlds apart. The man, Ethan Ross, CEO of Ross Holdings, had just finished a late board meeting. To most, he was a self-made millionaire, a success story carved in ambition and iron. But behind the tailored suit, Ethan carried a loneliness money couldn't fix. He glanced toward the street corner and froze. A woman kneeling beside a child, soaked, shivering, trying to smile through heartbreak. Something inside him twisted, a memory, years ago, that had been him and his mother waiting outside a diner for a job that never came. He remembered holding her hand, whispering, "Don't cry, Mommy." He remembered hunger. He remembered helplessness. And now, watching this scene, he couldn't walk away. Ethan stepped closer, his shoes splashing through puddles. "Hey," he said softly, trying not to startle them. "Are you two okay?" Grace tensed, clutching Emma's hand. "We're fine, sir. Just waiting for a bus." Ethan looked at the nearly empty street. At this hour? In this rain? Grace turned her face away, partly from shame, partly from pride. "We'll manage." Emma peeked up at him, voice trembling but full of honesty. "We don't have a home anymore. But Mommy says angels are real. Are you one?" Ethan felt his throat close. He crouched her level. "No, sweetheart," he whispered, "but maybe I can help one. Candle an unexpected offer." He handed Grace his coat, ignoring her protests. "You'll both freeze." She hesitated, then took it, feeling warmth she hadn't felt in weeks. "Come," he said, motioning toward his car. "Let me get you somewhere dry. I'm not asking for anything, just dinner and warmth. That's all." Grace hesitated. Years of disappointment had made her distrustful of kindness. But when she saw Emma's lips trembling from cold, she finally nodded. The drive was silent except for the sound of rain. Ethan noticed the girl's small hands wrapped around her mother's arm, as if afraid she'd disappear. He turned to Grace. "You said you were waiting for a bus. Where were you headed?" "Anywhere cheap," she replied softly. "I lost my job at the cafe last month. They said they couldn't keep someone who brings her kid along." Her voice cracked. "I tried everything." Ethan didn't reply right away. He just drove toward his penthouse, the only place he knew with spare rooms and warmth. When they entered, Grace froze. The marble floors, the art, the grand piano. It was another world. "Mr. Ross, we can't stay here. We'll dirty the place." Ethan interrupted gently. "You and your daughter need rest. That's all that matters." He ordered food, brought blankets, even dried Emma's shoes by the fireplace. When Grace saw Emma smiling for the first time in days, Ethan stared into the fire. "Because once, someone helped me and my mother when no one else would. It saved our lives." As night deepened, Grace tucked Emma into bed, whispering prayers of gratitude. Ethan watched from the hallway, a strange ache in his chest. He didn't know it yet, but this Christmas, he wasn't saving them. They were saving him. Ethan woke early the next morning. He wasn't used to noise in his penthouse. Laughter, footsteps, the sound of toast popping. Emma was sitting cross-legged on the kitchen counter, swinging her legs as Grace cooked eggs with hesitant hands. "I can't remember the last time this place smelled like breakfast," Ethan said with a smile. Grace blushed. "I just thought it'd be nice to say thank you." Emma grinned. "Mommy says thank yous make the world softer." Ethan laughed quietly. He'd spent years surrounded by executives, contracts, and meetings, and not one of them had ever made the world feel softer. After breakfast, Grace tried to refuse his money, but he insisted. "Call it a loan," he said, "for now." But instead of leaving, he offered something else. "I have a foundation. We help single parents restart their lives. You could work with me as community outreach coordinator." Grace's eyes widened. "Me? But I don't have the qualifications." He smiled gently. "You have experience that can't be taught: survival, empathy, and strength." Tears filled her eyes. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." "You already have," Ethan said softly, glancing toward Emma. Sparkling heart, the bond that grew. Weeks passed. Grace began working with Ethan's foundation, helping other struggling parents find homes and jobs. Ethan watched her transform, from a frightened woman clutching hope to a confident force of kindness. One evening, after a long day, he found Emma drawing in his office. She showed him the picture. It was of the three of them, hand in hand under a rainbow. "I drew us a family," she said proudly. He froze. "Family?" Emma nodded. "Mommy says families aren't always who you're born with. Sometimes they're who find you." For the first time in years, Ethan felt his heart truly beat. Shooting star, full circle kindness. A year later, Ethan's foundation opened a new branch, a shelter for single mothers, named Grace Haven. He gave a speech at the opening ceremony. "This place isn't charity," he said, looking at Grace and Emma in the crowd. "It's a promise that no mother should ever face the rain alone." Grace wiped her tears. Emma ran to the stage, clutching a small envelope. "It's for you, Mr. Ethan," she said. Inside was a drawing, a woman crying, a child pointing, and a man holding an umbrella. "It's the night we met," Emma explained. "When you helped us." Ethan bent down, voice breaking. "No, sweetheart. You're the ones who helped me remember what kindness feels like." That night, as snow began to fall again, Ethan stood outside Grace Haven, watching mothers and children finding warmth, laughter, and light. He realized that money could build towers, but kindness could build homes inside hearts. Clapperboard final CTA, 4 faceless channel. Broken heart, she cried in the rain. Cloud with rain, her little girl believed a stranger would help. Briefcase, and that stranger, a millionaire, found his lost heart. Red heart, because sometimes it takes the smallest voice to remind us what humanity really means. Bell subscribe for more emotional kindness stories, where one act of love can change everything.